In Search of British Heroes by Tony Robinson. Book review. So this is another book that I listened to as an audiobook because my British friend loaned it to me. It's called In Search of British Heroes, and obviously it's designed for a British audience. I still found it pretty interesting. The premise of the book is twofold. One, to explore the essence of what makes someone a hero, and to separate the fact from the legend, and to tie the ancient stories into current landmarks and geography. I guess it actually adds up to threefold, now that I think about it. As an American, it's hard to imagine what it must be like to live in Britain, especially if you're a history buff like I am. Imagine living in a country where every corner is just crammed full of ancient history. The geographical sections of the book are obviously designed for a British audience who can go out and see these geographical places. As for the selected heroes, there are 5 in the book: Boudica, Macbeth, King Harold, William Wallace, and Robin Hood. Now, I consider myself a history buff, but perhaps my parochial American education is coming in here because I never heard of Boudica or King Harold before. Probably a British schoolboy would be better familiar with these. And while I'm being hard on myself, I don't think I would have ever heard of William Wallace if it hadn't been for that Hollywood movie Braveheart. And actually, come to that, I don't think I ever would have heard of Macbeth if it hadn't been for the Shakespeare play. And Robin Hood is a fictional character. So essentially, I'm batting 0 for 5 in terms of how many of these heroes I actually recognized. Out of all the heroes in British history, just think of all the people they could have chosen. King Arthur, St. George, Oliver Cromwell, Queen Elizabeth, etc. The selection of these 5 heroes represents some interesting choices. Macbeth is really more of an anti-hero. Now, they do attempt to separate the actual history of Macbeth from the Shakespeare play. And it turns out he comes out a little bit better in the historical version than he does in Shakespeare, but still not a terribly nice guy. Excuse me. The book also tries to make the case that Robin Hood was actually based on a real historical person, but I thought it was a pretty weak case. One final thought. The real William Wallace, turns out it's completely different from the Hollywood version in Braveheart.